Good evening, good day. Once again, we welcome all our viewers, all our listeners to this, our show, My Sports Diary by Dr. Ronnie Masilela. This is a show where we profile our legends from yesteryear. This is a show where we afford a platform to our heroes of yesteryear, the forgotten heroes, those people who provided entertainment, people who provided happiness during very, very, very difficult days to South Africans during the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. And we have one of the greats here today. When I grew up in KwaNdebele, when I listened to Elijah Teta Masumbuga, he used to call him George Bestmore. And later on, when I met him, he said he was not George Bestmore. He was George Bestmore, and I said to him, I am not going to change that. I don't want Masumbuga to turn in his grave. So I am we are highly honored. We are highly privileged. We are highly humbled today to have one of the greatest soccer players of the 70s and the early 80s. One of the most prolific goal scorers. These are the people who made scoring goals look so easy. And when you looked at them scoring goals, it looked like it was very easy. But today we look at our players and it looks so difficult to get goals. But then we will get all those stories from our honored guest here today in the form of Mr. George Bestmore.
Thank you, Dr. Ronnie. It's a pleasure to have me on your show, and at least there is still somebody in the market that can still remember us and come back and say, hi, let's hear from you. What have you to say?
Now, thank you so much, Bra George. We are highly honored that you have allowed us in your house to come and record and talk to you and get your story, because I do think we need to hear your stories. I do not believe we must wait for people to pass on before we sing praises unto them. I believe let's salute, let us celebrate, let us pay homage, and let us say thank you to our legends while they are still alive, and hence the purpose of this show. But before we continue, tell us, Bra George, your name. You are George Bestmore. You are George Bestmore. Who are you actually?
Thank you, Bra Ron. In fact, I am George Makhabane More, popularly known to the masses of South Africa as George Bestmore. I don't like the surname Moore because it creates a wrong impression of me. I'm not white or colored, even though my mother was colored, but I'm not that.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, no, we thank you for that. I'm going to concentrate on the George Best part of it. Now, you are known as George Best. Now, I want to know of the two reasons. Was it because you were one of the best strikers of the 70s? And reason number two, during those days, during the 70s, there was a player in England called George Best. George Best was one of the best players that came out of this planet. He helped England in 1966. The only World Cup that England won was in 1966 when they had players like George Best. And you were also playing during those days. Now, do people call you George Best because you reminded them of George Best in England? Or was it because you were one of the best players in South Africa, which you were actually, or was it a bit of both? George Best.
The name George Best, I didn't get that name when I was already playing up in the professional league. I came with that name from the amateurs. I used to play for a team in Rockville called Rockville Hungry Lions, which was a semi-professional team. That's where your late Chipa Mului was, your late Ditsebe Batlegazi was. Produced quite a number of players, great players of yesteryear. Then there was a neighbor of mine called Machin Walter Murerian. He gave me the name George Best. Why he gave me that name, I don't know. And I didn't know until I became a professional player and realized who was George Best. George Best was not an England player, to rectify that point. George Best was an Irish player.
Yes,
and he did not play in the World Cup when England won the World Cup in 1966. But he played for Manchester United. He was a prolific number 7, and he used to score a lot of goals.
And you used to score a lot of goals?
Yeah, definitely I used to score a lot of goals, but that did not make me become the George Best. That was George Best.
But but at least you are George Best, More.
I became the South African George Best.
Tell us then about the South African George Best. Where did you start? And I know at some point you became professional. You played for Pimville United Brothers.
Yeah, well, from Hungry Lions, which was in 1969. Originally, I started off at Hungry Lions, where as a youngster I played in the lower divisions, was promoted to the A division at the age of 16. Then I played in the A division there. Then in 1969, beginning 1970 to be exact, I was recruited by Kaizer Chiefs, then still Kaizer 11. I was a student at Skanontuana High School. That's where the late Iwad Nene got me from. And I joined Kaizer 11. I played for Kaizer 11 1970 and 71. And I parted company with them in 1971 because of a misunderstanding between me and the chairman. Me and the manager, being Iwad Nene. I only asked Iwad Nene a simple situation that we were going to write our matric exams. So I was asking for time off. And Iwad said to me, I must choose between writing matric and playing for Kaizer Chiefs. And my choice was simple and straightforward. I said, you can go with your Kaizer Chiefs. I'm going to write my matric exams. And that's how I parted company with Kaizer Chiefs.
Because of your matric exams?
Yeah, because of matric exams.
That's how important education was to you?
And it's still important to me today. Then I had a lapse. Then I joined Pimville United Brothers. But the joke of the whole matter is, my release from Kaizer Chiefs to join Pimville United Brothers was just on one condition, that I hand back the blazer. Yeah, Kaizer Chiefs, I must give it back to Kaizer Chiefs. I can't go to pubs with that blazer. So I had to give them back that blazer, and they gave me my clearance, and I joined pubs. I played for Pimville United Brothers from 1972 up till 1974, when Pubs died a natural death. Why I say natural death is, it was a gentleman's agreement.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a lot of wrong that had happened in the team, financially and otherwise. Mm-hmm. So we were given our clearances and we had to join other teams. Most of the guys went to Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs. I took a breather and I joined the Pretoria Kellys. By then it was Bantu Kellys.
Pretoria Bantu Kellys.
Yeah. Masterpieces had left for Hong Kong. So they recruited me to come and play there. Mm. So I played for them for a season, which was 75. Then in 76, I joined Orlando Pirates. Played with Orlando Pirates until 1979. Then 1980, that's when I moved into this house, which were bonded houses. Came in and stayed here. I was working for the bank. And my wife said to me again now, originally it was about my matric certificate, where I was told to choose. When I came into this house, which was a brand new house, my wife said, now you must choose between football and being a father of the home. Mm. And that's how I stopped playing football.
But that was after a long time. That was after, you had already applied your trade for many, many years for pubs. Can we kindly go back to pubs? Before Paps died a natural death, like you are saying in 1975, I remember plus minus 8 of the guys, 7 or 8, went to Orlando Pirates. Your captain, Chris Rollaway Ndlovu, went to Kaizer Chiefs. And your number 6, Ernest Pro Ramuhai, went to Witbank Black Aces. And Benjamin Mfundisi, your goalkeeper, went to the Mines. And unfortunately, I think he had an accident, he passed on.
Yeah, well, he went back to the mines. He was from the mining area.
Yeah, he was originally from there.
Yeah, he was.
Thank you for helping me, you know. Now, Paps, you were playing for Pimville United Brothers. It was yourself. It was Brains Mkunu. You had Mepra Kosha as a left back. You had Easter Khomani as a right back. You had Chili Boy Koloba. You had you had Philemon Nsoseng. You had Benjamin Kwape. You had Trinity Banda. You had Ben Hoktol Kule. And that was a Paps that would never give up and that would fight for 90 minutes. What was going on there? What was the motivation at the time that prompted you to work so hard and to provide so much entertainment? I remember with Pramepra we spoke about that game, which you will remember, where Paps were down playing against Kaizer Chiefs. You were 4-1 down at halftime. But then the second half things changed around and the score ended up as 6-5. What was this motivation? What is it that propelled you guys to work so hard and to never give up, to come back from 4-1 down?
I'll just rectify one point there. And that is the 6-5 time, I was not with Paps.
Oh, okay.
That was in 1970.
Yeah.
That was a stylo competition.
Okay.
I was not with Paps then. But when I joined Paps, Paps was a family. Close-knitted family.
Okay.
The word brother meant seriously to Pimville United Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Hence, whenever we went in to play, there were two words that we were told. And was said was, the first one was brother, the second one was never give up.
Okay. Your motto was never to give up.
Never give up. And there was a code that we used to use, and it used to confuse a lot of teams. When we said, if we were down, like we're 3 down or 4 down, we just say British way.
What does that mean?
British way meant now we're playing running football.
Oh, okay.
No more dribbling, we're playing running football direct. That used to confuse people. Hence, Rollaway would get the ball from the back and just run straight up.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
Run straight up. And we know when he gets into the box, he's going to bring it back and you are there to finish or finish. So it was an issue of British way.
So now you would approach the game having a plan A and a plan B.
Yeah, plan A and plan B. If the game is swift going and all that, then we play plan A.
It's your natural ball.
Yeah, fine.
Yes, South African football.
But the minute we're down, we go plan B.
And then Chris Rollaway will take the lead.
Chris Rollaway will do that. Benjamin Kwape will do that. So there are 2 guys on the flanks running, and you don't know where to stop them.
Tell us, did you find Ben Kule?
Yeah, I played with Ben Kule.
Ben Kule, the Octoal.
Yeah, Ben Kule, we played together at Paps, we played together at Pirate.
I am told that he had a special gift of slowing down the game.
He was a real game reader. Ben Kule was a game reader. You could see where it was too hot and you'll pour cold water there. And you could see this side there's a loop and he'll tell you, start running, and you just place it there.
So it's true, Ben Kule was the one who was really controlling things in the middle. Oktol Kule.
Oktol Kule was the mastermind of the midfield. And Oktol Kule too played with Tiger Motaung. It's unfortunate they all passed on. Played with Tiger Motaung in that midfield, and you would do nothing because they would slow it down or they would increase the pace. They knew how to dominate.
They would dictate the pace of the game. Now, what position were you playing? I know you were number 7.
I've always been a number 9.
Number 9.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that a lot of goalkeepers don't like me.
Why? Tell us why they don't like you.
Because I used not to believe in tapping a goal in. I used to believe in blasting.
Yeah. Now, okay. Was it because of you that Banda decided to use gloves? Or was it because of Risco Sana?
No, it couldn't have been because of Risco Sana, because Risco Sana and Banda were teammates.
Okay. No, sorry, I mean Banks Itlodi.
Banks Itlodi, it was not an issue of they had to use gloves, because now the new rules of football had come in now. Goalkeepers must use gloves.
But then
they can't go bare hands.
Yes, but then they were bare hands during the 70s. Yeah. But at some point
they had to use gloves because the shots were too hot.
That's exactly my point.
The shots were too hot.
And that is because of you and Ray and the other guys.
Yeah, but you see, Tateruni, yesterday's striker.
Yes.
You look throughout the world. Yesterday's striker was there to score goals. Not to score beautiful goals like you see today. Our strikers want to score beautiful goals today. We used to score goals. You see, look at Jerry Skosana. I used to love Jerry Skosana from the bottom of my heart.
Yes.
One, he's selfish. Two, he's greedy. And that makes a striker.
Okay.
You must have those two qualities. You must be greedy and selfish. Now, today's strikers get the ball in the danger zone in the 6-yard box, lays it off to another, shifts the responsibility. Because he wants to impress the coach, I laid it off. There's no lay off in that box. And don't forget, the goalkeeper is not your family. He's your enemy. Why don't you mess him up? Put fear into that guy that whenever he sees you, he knows, hey, Tibangiu trouble.
And that's exactly what you used to do.
That's all that a striker should do. I mean, you look at these young boys in overseas, you look at Mbappe, you look at Rashford, you look at Ronaldo. They don't play when they're in that 6-yard box. They know what to do. But you find present football in that 6-yard box, he looks around, he wants to lay it off. Lay it off for who? To me, that's shifting responsibility.
Now, perhaps then died a natural death in them, and ultimately you find yourself playing for Pirates, and already there were players, who were playing for Pirates. But you guys came in, and there were quite many of you, plus minus 6, 7 or so, including yourself, and I think the back four of Pubs, Easter, Chili Boy, and so saying. Now you are at Orlando Pirates. What kind of reception did you get when you arrived at Pirates?
I had a warm reception. Welcome, Orlando Pirates. I was with Kelly's for the entire 75, 76. Pirate came in and bought me from Kelly's. And the unfortunate part, or the fortunate part, is that my first game, Pirate bought me on a Wednesday. My first game was a Saturday, and we played against Pretoria Kelly's that Saturday.
Now you must play against the people where you were, your friends.
Fine. I had a good welcome here. Everybody was happy that I joined them. Then something very strange happened. As usual. I scored a goal. And scoring the goal, I did not know should I celebrate or what, because I was playing for this team, and here I am, I'm scoring against them.
Within a week, you score
within 2 days.
Within 2 days.
I was with them at the training on Wednesday. And that very Wednesday, Pirate bought me.
And Saturday,
I'm playing for Pirate against the people that I was training with on Wednesday.
And there's a goal from George Best.
And there I score.
Yeah, no, it's understandable why it was difficult to celebrate.
We had a good time at Orlando Pirates. What I can tell you about Orlando Pirates is Jomo Sono. Still have a respect for that guy. Still have a great respect for him. Jomo did not believe in defeat.
Yebo.
Jomo inspired the spirit of pups that he did not know.
Yeah.
With his attitude, never die attitude.
A winner through and through.
Yeah.
He believes in winning.
Jomo used to feel bitter if we lose a game. Jomo would shout and scream in the dressing room if you've lost the game. I remember one time when we played Kaiser Chiefs and we lost 1-0. I think it was a BP top 8. We lost 1-0 to Orlando Pirates, to Kaiser Chiefs, through a midfield mistake by, I still remember Webster Ichaba made a mistake. Muguyo got the ball and he blasted it in, and we won they won 1-0. In the dressing room, Jomo said it straight. He didn't mince his words. I don't forget his words. He said, if you don't want to play for Orlando Pirates, pack and go. Pirate is a team of trophies.
Was that the time when Muguyo scored the only goal?
Yeah, the only goal.
Was it not maybe the B&H final of 1970?
like I say...
I think it was 77.
Yeah, like I say, I remember it was a cup final
yes,
at Orlando Stadium.
It was a B&H 1977.
Yeah.
Muguyo scored that only goal.
Yeah. And he did not mince words. He said straight.
Yo.
Even the pirate, back on Hambin.
He was very passionate about Pirates.
That guy, Jomo, was passionate about winning. Hence, when you look at Orlando Pirates today, and you ask yourself a question, if Jomo was with them, would they survive?
Now, that culture, that spirit of wanting to win all the time, did he successfully spread it amongst to everybody in the dressing room?
To everybody in the dressing room.
So you believed as Orlando Pirates, when you took the field, that come by hook or crook, we have to win.
You have to win. You know, Ronnie wearing Orlando Pirate jersey, I'm sorry if some of these people are going to feel offended. Wearing the Orlando Pirate jersey is like wearing the national team jersey.
Yes.
You know, when we used to wear that jersey of Orlando Pirate, it was like you wearing the Black 11 jersey.
Yeah.
That's how heavy that jersey is. No.
And that's the Pirates we used to follow.
Yeah, that's a Pirate I used to play for and I used to follow.
And that's the Pirates I used to follow. I've been a Pirates follower since 1967. And that's the Pirates that I know. Pirates that used to win, Pirates that you used to get trophies. Your Orlando Pirates.
The Pirate that I played for. Playing with Bocho, Mobo Shakes, Mashaba and the works. The method was one. We must win a trophy.
As a striker, how would it make you feel to go 3 games without scoring?
That is taboo.
3 games without scoring.
It's taboo. You cannot, like I'm saying, you cannot be a number 9, a striker. You call yourself a striker. You don't have these 2 qualities. Like I mentioned earlier on, you must be greedy and selfish. Now, if you don't have those, you'll go nowhere.
On average, Brother George Best, for every 4 games, would you score? How many goals would you score every 4 games? I'll tell you why I'm asking. I'm worried because I look at strikers from overseas. They will show you Ian Wright. I'm just giving an example, the Arsenal striker. And they will write there, Ian Wright scored 115 goals in 215 games. Now, what my mental arithmetic will then tell me that, okay, I've noticed and I've observed that the good strikers overseas, the number of goals will almost be half the number of games. You play 100 games, you score 50 goals. You play 200 games, you score 100 goals. Meaning, at least in 2 games you score 1 goal.
You see, the sad part about our era, stats were not kept properly.
Yes, I was coming to stats, yeah.
Stats were not kept properly. So you cannot say, I used to score blah, blah, I used to score blah, blah. But the fact remains, you know, as an individual, that you cannot go seriously 3 games without scoring. They're going to substitute you. You won't play number 9, they put another number 9 in because you've gone 3 games without scoring.
It's taboo. It shouldn't happen.
You know what is so painful today? You struggle to see a hat-trick scored. A guy is on 2 goals. He's heading for a hat-trick. He gets pulled off. How do you pull him off? Because he's on the verge of giving you the 3rd goal or getting his 3rd goal. If you look at, they say the leading goal scorer for the season, he scored 21 goals. He scored 20 goals. How many games do they play?
No, but these days you don't even reach 20. I mean, we once had a leading goal scorer at 11, 16, 15.
I mean, how many games do they play?
I mean, in excess, between 30 and 40 games. Sometimes, yeah.
Exactly. Now, okay, I understand football has improved. Definitely it has improved from our time.
What has improved about football?
It has improved from our time in the sense that the game is so tactical, it's so computerized in my mind, that when you go onto the field and the score is 0-0, it must remain like that. Then you've played.
But then why not field only defenders? And what is the duty of a number 9 then?
Thank you.
What is the duty of a number 9 if the score must remain?
You know, you look at what is happening today. It's unbelievable. To me, it's unbelievable. Orlando Pirates will play Hoto as a left back. This guy is a winger. What is he doing at the back? They talk of wing backs and all that. It's a modern game. But to me, a winger is somebody who's up there, not behind there. Lone striker. South Africans can never afford lone striker football.
What are the rest of the people doing if you have a lone striker?
It does not work with us. And they tell you there's no more, how do they call it, a schema. Your number 10 is your schema. Your number 10 is a guy that thinks for you. He's your maneuverer.
You're paying Octol cool.
Yeah, but now the thing is, that's why look at all the guys wearing the number 10 shirt. What type of football do they play? And you look at the guys previously that were number 10s. You look at your Jomo Sonos, you go down the list. You go down the list. You go down the list with your number 10s. Those were real guys that could set the things alight. Today, they're not there.
Tell us about the best players you once played with, Bra George. The best players.
Best players?
Yeah.
I've played with a lot of guys. I've played with Asen Soleng, I've played with Jomo Sono, played with Chipa Moloya, I've played with Kaiser Motaung himself. Played with Sugar Ray Kulu, played with Julian Gobe,
Masterpieces
Moripe, the late Let Them Dance Malala. I've played with quite a number of guys, and I enjoyed playing with them. Because all that you do is, as a striker, this is what I used to do. Maybe I can reveal my secret now that I'm no more playing. I was not a good dribbler.
Yes.
I was not a good dribbler. I used pace, strength, and intelligence. Because I was plumpy, I could outrun them because they would look at me and say, this Mafuta will do nothing. And I go.
This is what was surprising about you. You know, you look like you were a bit, you know, you were not on the slimmer side.
No,
but you're very fast. You were very fast, and but you were not a thin guy.
You see, I remember whenever we played Kaizer Chiefs, the central defense was Jackie, Masike, and the late Tiki Khoza.
Mm-hmm.
Tiki would say to Jackie, "Hey, Mchagan, sheba muki maoa mata man." They couldn't run, the two of them.
Yes.
So now, if big boy comes with a ball or Jomo comes and he places it up behind them, I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only way they could cool me down, is by injuring me. Now, I cannot understand today's strikers, can't think along those lines. There's this young guy, a player who plays for Sundowns, Shalulile. That's the type of guy that you see is a striker. He does everything right. He runs into the ball, he runs this way and that way. He knows what he's doing. But do they supply him? Do they supply him? I mean, you look at your Hoto. Your Hoto is a type of guy that just needs supply. But now, everybody wants to be a dribbler.
And people are not all dribblers.
No. There are people that are able to dribble. Your job as a striker is to score goals. How you score them is not important. You must score goals, that's all.
We want to see goals.
Yeah.
Not beautiful goals, just a goal.
Come on, the journalist will articulate as to it was a good, brilliant goal, it was a scintillating goal or whatever. Your job is to score a goal.
Yes. Tell us about your comebacks. You know, like you are saying, Pimville would never give up. And even Jomo Sono would inculcate that culture, that even if you are down. Tell us about some of the comebacks where you were down and where people would have written you off and say, you know, this team cannot come back. Now, really, this is too much what you did.
Where I enjoyed comebacks was only with one team, and that was Pimville United Brothers.
Scum Boys.
Yeah. You know, I remember we were playing Mangaung United in Bloemfontein. It was what? Seisa Ramabodu,
where the Kosana brothers were still playing.
Yeah. Mangaung were red hot then. Half-time score was 4-0.
4-0.
4-0.
Favor
Mangaung.
Okay.
And our goalkeeper that day, because Mfundisi was not around, was Panki Khavile.
Okay.
Then when we settled down there, then Rollaway and Brains came up with a strategy and said, guys, from the word go, let's not even try and say 5 minutes or what. When we start the second half, it's British way.
Oh, okay. Now you're going to British route now.
I tell you, when the referee blew the final whistle as the game is over,
yeah,
the people of Bloemfontein couldn't believe.
What happened?
People couldn't believe.
From 4-0.
From 4-0, we won 7-5.
He's got 7 goals in 45 minutes.
Yeah. With Paps was one team. I don't care how much they can speak of it or whatever. That was family. When you decide on something that we are going to play this way, nobody objects. We look at why you say you play this way and we do it.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Hence, I remember I was interviewed some time ago when I was still playing football. No, after I stopped playing football. And I was asked about Paps, and I said to that journalist, Walter Mabeba, I still remember, I said to him, do you know, Walter, to tell you the truth, like I'm telling you the truth, Doc, right now.
Yes, Virgil.
My love for football died when Paps died. Thereafter, it was just an issue that I was talented. This was God's given talent for me to continue playing. But when Paps died, my love for football died.
That's where you really enjoyed your football.
100%. You know, Paps was a funny team. Sorry. You know, they talk of witchcraft and whatnot. Such things never existed in that team.
You never used muti in pubs?
There was no muti in pubs. There was no camping. This that you meet pre to the game was never there. If we are going to play a game like we're playing with Bank Aces on Saturday away in Laneville,
yes,
I would say we meet at the clubhouse 8 o'clock.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. 8 o'clock, everybody is there Saturday morning.
With their bags and ready.
8 o'clock. There's no somebody coming there 8:05 or 8:15. No.
Discipline.
If they say 8 o'clock, already they're 7:30 and all that. 8 o'clock, we move. You know, pubs.
How that culture? How did you develop? How was that culture developed?
When I joined pubs, that culture was already there. It's not. It seems like when all those that come in found the culture there and they continued with it.
Is it possible maybe to have such a culture in today's football?
Aye. You can't have it because these guys come from different angles, different cars, park their cars there, go onto the pitch, do whatever they do, out there into their cars, gone. Pubs we used to play, you remember league games used to be on a Sunday also. We would play Saturday, Sunday. Monday, we are all here in Pimville to rectify and look at how we played for the weekend.
But that is after you come from work, because in the morning you must go to work, report for duty. Only after hours when you
come back from work, we meet.
Yeah.
We analyze and we look at what happened. Tuesday we had training. Wednesday, Thursday training. Friday, Saturday morning, we play at Orlando Stadium 10 o'clock. We are all there 10 o'clock. I tell you can go and ask any person that played for pubs if he was ever late. The way pubs was disciplined, these guys were disciplined. I remember we went to Durban to play Golden Arrows. It was an Easter weekend. We played Golden Arrows the Saturday. Sunday we had a friendly in Pietermaritzburg, and the Monday, Pietermaritzburg friendlies. We played, after this game, went to Pietermaritzburg, played, slept over for the Monday game. Boys being boys, you'll do wrong. So we decided after the friendly game here, Sunday in Pietermaritzburg, let's go boys' night. We went out, we did what we did, came back the early hours of the morning, but we slept. Following day, the team is to be announced. Don't forget, pubs didn't have a lot of players. Had a squad of 14.
Yeah.
Chris, being the captain, drafted the team and he included all the ones that misbehaved to play. So we were punished. Fine. The following day, it's analysis day after the game. We met at the meeting there. And Chris stood up and he said, Zonki Tagwa Aziholi. So the people that got paid more was Chris, Sheikh Sonso Singh, Jerry Sadike, and Esther Khomani. Because they were the ones that did not take. The rest of us, we've waited.
Now the game that you played after you misbehaved the previous night, how did that game go?
No, we won the game.
You won the game still. But then now you are being punished for misbehaving. Not for losing the game.
No, not losing the game. We didn't lose a single game. We went outside the code.
Okay, the code of conduct.
Yeah.
That's how disciplined the team was.
That's how disciplined the team was.
Then you learned your lesson, and the next time you behaved.
I tell you, with pubs, it was like not even a boarding school. How would I say, reformatory? Where you go in and you know when you come out of there, you are disciplined. Hence, when things went bad for pubs to die like that,
it was
terrible.
It was painful. But then you were still disciplined players. Then you went to Pirates and elsewhere, and you maintained that discipline. You went to Pirates, then you found Jomo Sono there, also with a culture of a winning culture. To some extent, yeah, it helped.
It helped. You know, the spirit of pubs still lives up till today. We are still close. The guys were pubs, Mebra Gosha, Easter, George Makapan. We see each other regularly. We talk to each other regularly. That spirit of brotherhood is still there. Hence I say, when pubs died, my football life died. I just continued playing because I was able to. But the love of that game, was no more there.
No, that's sad to hear. That's sad, extremely sad. Because, I remember pubs very well. I remember pubs. And like you are saying, you had a very limited number of players. Yeah. And that's why maybe, it's easy to remember that, it was Mfundisi, it was Easter, it was Mebra, it was Chili. Tell us a bit about Chili Boy before we move to Orlando Pirates. Tell me about Chili Boy. Because he was one of my favorite players, but I don't think I saw enough of him.
Yeah, Chili Boy was real tough, whether it be on the field or off the field. He was a guy of discipline. We used to call him Tau.
Okay.
If you refer to somebody as Tau, lion, it means his problem.
In what sense?
In that, Chili Boy was a problem in the sense that he could mislead you.
Okay.
He could mislead you and you end up being in trouble and he's safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as a defender?
As a defender, he was very tough. Tough, hard and everything. And Chili Boy is responsible for me joining Orlando Pirates. Because he came and he approached me and begged me, please come and join. He was with Alex Pops and the late Jimmy Sojani. Unfortunately, the three of them have passed on.
Before we move to Orlando Pirates, the back four of Pubs at the time, Easter on the right flank, as a right back, Mebra left, Chili Boy, and Susing. How would you rate that back four? Do you know of a better back four during football during those days or today? A better back four than you had Easter as a right back, you had Mebra as a left back, you have Chili Boy and Susing as your central defenders.
I don't think there was any better back four in the entire league than that back four. Even though they may say I'm trying to be defensive or what, that back four was the best. Because whenever there were, Black 11 selections, they would always take three of them. Chili Boy, Easter,
Mebra,
and Shakes. Mebra didn't feature that much at the national level because of Kaiser Chiefs at Mkababa.
Yes, Mkababa.
So, but these three would always be there.
Now then they moved to Orlando Pirates and the same back four moved to Orlando Pirates. When you arrive at Orlando Pirates...
But they didn't, that back four didn't go to Orlando Pirates, all of them. Mebra went to Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah, we know, but he later came back.
He came back to Orlando Pirates.
Yes, yeah.
But by then, when he came to Orlando Pirates, there was a lot of competition there because
there was
Oscar Dlamini. Who's originally from Pubs.
Yes, okay.
Oscar is originally from Pubs. He was the main guy there. So Mebra had a problem to come in and get rid of Oscar. But again, it became a back four of Pubs.
It was a back four of Pubs.
Because Oscar originally is Pubs.
Tell us about some of the comeback games when you were at Orlando Pirates where people wrote you off and Jomo was there and then people thought this team cannot come back, surely. Maybe it was against Kaiser Chiefs or so, but you did manage to come back. The memorable games, Bra George, and maybe that way you scored.
Well, Okay, one of the memorable games that I remember at Pirate was when we played Kaiser Chiefs at Orlando Stadium. Kaiser Chiefs were 1 up, and we came back in the second half. I scored both goals, and we won 2-1. That was in 1977, if I'm not wrong. There are a lot of games where we came from behind. For instance, against your Val professionals. Jomo would always come to the rescue. You know, Jomo was... It's tough to describe Jomo. Jomo was a combination of Lionel Messi, Ronaldo. You know, he had everything. He had everything going for him. That's why he could make it easily in America. He had a lot going for him. I have high respect for him. Because whenever he knew what he wanted to do, and he will play for you. He was not that selfish that he'll shy away. If he sees an opportunity, late for you. Hence, I said I scored quite a number of goals through him.
Now, okay, you scored a great number of goals. You were you were the striker, the number 9. Who was your toughest opponent? The number 5 that when you had to play against him, then you had nightmares the night before to say, I'm going to face this guy. Who was your toughest defender that you really didn't like to play against?
Okay, I would say he was the toughest, but I didn't like him because he was rude.
Okay. I think I know which route you're going, but I'll wait for you to say it.
No, maybe we're talking of different people.
Okay.
I'm talking of a guy that played for Morocco Swallows.
Oh, okay. All right.
He was rude. Brixton Maseko.
Okay.
They used to call him Mgeu.
Yo. So what did he do to you?
He used to swear at you.
Oh, used to to abuse you verbally, so that
you know, as somebody who is anti-swearing.
Okay. So now he used very bad language.
Yeah, he was very vulgar, man.
Okay.
Yeah, Samson Maseko, Brixton Maseko. We played at the back. He was very rough and.
No, I think I know very little about him.
But a guy that was very tough and intelligent, and I used to struggle against him.
Yes.
Was Mtunzi Kota.
Yes.
Shadow.
I remember Mtunzi. Mgeu, I don't remember him.
Mtunzi played with Mgeu and them.
Okay, no, I don't know much about him. I know about Mtunzi and Buk Magwati.
And there's Brixton Maseko.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mtunzi Kota was tough for you?
Yeah, Mtunzi was very tough. Mtunzi and Slow Masuku from Witbank Aces. Yeah. Those were guys that I had problems with.
If you look at defenders in England today, you look at the guy who plays for Barcelona, Gerald Piqué. You look at John Terry, and you remember people like Chili Boy Koloba and Mtunzi Kota. Would you put them in the same bracket?
Yeah, your Jab Stumps.
Yes, Jab Stum and all those people.
Yeah, no, those. I would put Mtunzi Kota, Chiliboy Koloba, Slow Masuku, Hering Khatau from Pretoria Kellys. What was this guy's name from Zulu Royal, man?
Zulu Royal, Ronald Catalanga?
Catalanga.
Yes.
Those are proper central defenders. You know, guys that know and read the game. And they know how to put ends to it. The same applies to Tiki Koza.
Tiki Koza, yeah. Tiki I do.
Yeah, those guys would make it abroad.
And what about his brother Mainline Koza?
Mainline was more of a midfielder than a central defender.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if we come to midfielders of the time, and you look at their midfielders, today, You look at people like Sugar Ray Xulu, you look at people like Rolaway Ndlovu, you look at all those great midfielders that we had in South Africa. How would they compare with the midfielders that we see in England or overseas?
Ntate Rooney, to be honest with you, it's painful and hurting because we were banned by FIFA from international level. If we were given a chance, these guys, our midfielders, our defenders, our strikers, front runners, would have proved themselves to be equal to these people. Now the thing is, we were stifled by FIFA not to partake or send people abroad to go and play. That killed us. But pound for pound, we would make it. Because if you remember well, I think it was in 1973, 74, when Sir Stanley Matthews came to South Africa with a British 11. And they played the South African 11 here at Orlando Stadium.
Was that the time when Reece scored a goal and it was disallowed?
Yeah. Our guys matched those guys pound for pound.
Yes.
And Sir Stan was so impressed. He was so impressed that he took Ace Munini to England. Ace Munini had a stint with Newcastle United.
Okay.
But unfortunately, because of his schooling background, he wasn't good in the language, he came back.
Not because of talent.
Not because of talent.
Because of other issues.
Yeah, because of other issues. And the main issue was he was not able to talk to them.
To communicate.
To communicate.
Because, I remember that game you're talking about, and you can imagine having Jomo Sono, Kaizer Motaung, Chipa Mloyi, yourself, Maria, Sugar Ray Xulu, Chili Boy Koloba, Chipa Mloyi in the same squad to face... That squad could face anything in the world.
Like I say, it's a pity. Apartheid deprives us seriously. Because if it was not of that, South Africa would be among the top 20 teams in the world.
And maybe we would have won the World Cup at some point.
Easily have won it, especially when it came to FNB. The stage was too high for our players because now they got exposed to people that they envy.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, how do you go and tackle your hero? You talk of him every time, Raymond, John Barnes. And here you are now playing with John Barnes. Are you going to do it? No, you won't.
You don't want to injure your hero.
You don't want to injure your hero. That's what apartheid did to us.
Apartheid did us a lot of disservice.
A lot of damage. Now I'm speaking as far as football is concerned.
Yeah, we're speaking football, yes.
Because if you look at it, your Chipa Molois or Bernard Haas went abroad. But they had to come back. We had one South African that stayed abroad, even won an FA medal, in Albert Tiki Johansson. You had Kalamazoo Mokoni, stayed abroad, South African product. But that was before the banning of FIFA. You have Darius Romo from Natal, played abroad. That was before the banning of FIFA. Carlton Moloi played abroad. Then FIFA came in and banned us. And I still maintain, if we did not get that banning that time, we would have done it. Easily, South Africa would have been far today in so far as world football is concerned.
It's very painful. This is a very painful story, but at least we are glad to get it from the horse's mouth. In conclusion, Bra George Bestmo, Datemore, the purpose of this show is really to give people like yourself to pay homage to you and to celebrate you, to give you a platform to share your story with us. And we have heard your story. Maybe before I wrap up, then, what message would you like to give to today's players with a view to learn from everything that you've told us, to improve today, so that maybe tomorrow we can have a better future in football? We're talking football.
My advice I would give to the present crop of players is, number one, be yourself. Be your own self. Don't try and imitate anybody. Be yourself. Because by trying to imitate your Lionel Messi or Bruno Fernandes, you are not yourself. You've taken an image that is not yours. Be yours and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and things will happen. And to the strikers, all that I'm saying is, please go and cultivate two things. Be greedy and selfish. And shoot on sight. Then you'll score goals. It's painful. I mean, up till now, COVID or not COVID, no hat-trick has been scored up till now. Okay, it's 3 games, no hat-trick has been scored. But if you look at overseas, just the other day, Bruno Fernandes, a midfielder with Manchester United, scored a hat-trick. Why can't we score goals here? And we have the ability to score goals. Number 2, all that I'm asking now, this is now a plea to the National Footballers Association or the league and all that. Please, 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 I'm not xenophobic. Bring football back to the township. Bring football back to the township. There's so much talent in the township that you overlook all these teams and they go searching for players from outside. I'm not against those people, I'm not xenophobic, I'm truly South African. But please, start at home, look at home.
Thank you, Brother George. That then brings us to the end of today's show. Brother George, we must really thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for taking your time to talk to us.
It's a pleasure, Brother Ronnie.
And your story, painful as it is, but it's the truth. And the purpose of this show is really, to, amongst other things, for people like yourselves, who sacrificed yourself and used your God-given talent to entertain South Africans during very difficult times. For everything that you have done for us as South Africans, for us who had very little to entertain us during those difficult times, we would like to salute you, would like to celebrate you, would like to pay homage to you, and to say to you, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If nobody ever came to you to say thank you for what you did to the multitudes, those people who heard about George Best over the radio, who saw you at Orlando Stadium, who saw you at all the stadia where you used to play as a Pubs player, as a Pirates player, those who may not be able to reach you, on behalf of all of them, Brother George, today, whilst you are still alive, whilst I'm still able to talk to you, I may not be able to come to your funeral or you come to my funeral. We don't know who will go first. But I want you and to put it on the record today that we are profoundly grateful. We're saying thank you to you, and we're saying thank you to the others who may have gone without having had an opportunity to hear that we are saying thank you. We are profoundly grateful. That then brings us to the end of today's show. And once again, this is my sports diary with Dr. Ronnie Masilela. And I'm saying to you, like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Until the next time, we thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Sorry, let me...